We will now be watching Isabella's 25-yard breaststroke from the above water camera view. This is Coach Connor commentating. We will be viewing the majority of this video at half the speed that it was originally recorded at for video analysis purposes. Let's begin. Okay, first thing I want to point out, Isabella, is your streamline. Okay. Although the hands are together at the top, which is strong. Okay. But we want to make sure we're squeezing those ears. Okay, we have those legs together, squeezing nice and tight, pointing the toes behind us. Okay, otherwise, all in all, decent streamline. As we come out of the streamline into that pull out, remember we don't want the arms to spread out this far apart. Okay. Remember the IY drill that we do, and where we pull from in the IY drill is a lot smaller. We want to go probably right about here is where we want our hands to be when we come out of that position. Okay, much like the butterfly video that we did a while back. Same idea here with the breaststroke. We don't want the hands to go any further than that Y position. Okay. After we bring our hands down, we want to make sure we leave our hands down by our side for about a second. Okay, as you bring your hands down, we're already beginning to initiate that kick, the kick phase of our pull out before our hands even reach our side. Okay. So we want to make sure we keep those legs nice and long, pointing the toes, the arms down at our side. So as we bring our arms up, that's when we do the kick. Okay, so what we ended up doing right there, we ended up doing 2 kicks off the wall, and that's a no-no. That's a DQ right there. So right here, the hands come up. And forgive me, because that is actually your dolphin kick that you're doing as you're pulling down. The reason why I thought it was a breaststroke kick is because the dolphin kick, the legs were not together. So we want to make sure those legs are together for the most optimal dolphin kick possible. We don't want to have our legs apart when we're kicking through the water. We'd rather put our legs together so there's a lot more surface area, so we're kicking a lot more water, as opposed to having our legs separated, kicking through the water with less power in each leg. So in that case, 2 is better than 1. Okay, all in all, otherwise it's a good pullout. Okay, it's an efficient pullout. For the most part, it's a correct pullout. It's a legal pullout. So that's good. That's what we want. One thing I want to point out as I want to just make sure we're bringing the arms up. You do a very good job of bringing the arms up underneath the body. Okay, most kids kind of swing their arms out along the sides of their body and they get caught up in the water. You do a good job of kind of what we call sneaking those hands back into that streamline. So that's very good. Your breaststroke is very efficient, especially for someone of your age. Okay, very good head position. Eyes are down. Hands are sweeping towards the surface. You have a powerful kick. But what I want you to make sure we continue to work on in practice, especially one of the drills, my favorite breaststroke drill, the IY drill. Okay, so as you can see here, we are in the I position. Your head is fairly relaxed. It's down. Hips are towards the surface, as you can see in the back. But as we come here, okay, remember this is the Y position. This is where we want to be. So let's go back. I, and then Y. Remember, from the Y position, okay, so this is about as wide as we can go. We want the fingertips to then sweep in towards our body. Okay. Fingertips sweep in towards our body and they'll meet together at the chest. But what you do is you like to sweep out and then through. Okay, let's watch here. As we come through, see the hands come there. That's too wide, and we're sweeping in. Okay, that's a very, very wide stroke. Okay, it's more wide than it needs to be. I shouldn't say it's a very wide stroke. It's just more wide than it needs to be, and we're losing a little bit of speed in it. When if we could go from here, from this position, into the chest, we'd have a tighter pull, but still have the same amount of power, Therefore, you're getting to your hands to your chest quicker. Therefore, you're able to shoot the hands out in front into that position 4 a lot faster, and then you're able to initiate that great breaststroke kick that you have. So everything just kind of speeds up, but you're not losing power, and you're becoming more efficient. Okay. The thing that you do well, is for the most part, is keeping that head nice and still. Okay, there is just a slight lift as you're coming up out of the water. Okay. And because of that slight lift, the hips drop, and therefore that also kind of feeds into that wider pull. Because the hips drop, you're compensating for the hips, because the hips drop, your pull widens to compensate for that. Then we have to do everything we can to get our hips back up to the surface, and then we can finally get our head back down. And then as we pull through, you have to forgive me, the video restarted on me, so we're going to come back. Just go ahead from the top. Just remember everything that I told you in terms of the pull out. Watch here. Watch the head lift. Head lifts just a little bit, just enough to where we have to compensate for the hips to drop. And it's right before we begin our pull. Right here. See, we can already see the head lifting up. Okay, I shouldn't be able to really see that S come out of the surface of the water. The P, the CSP on your cap, I can see the S. I shouldn't be able to see that. It's okay if I can see a little bit of the P, but we do not want to see the S. Okay, again, as the head comes out, you can see the head lifting up as the arms are spreading apart. Okay, with the head lift, the hips drop, so you're used to having that wide pull to compensate for the hips dropping. The other thing I want to point out too is as you finish, as you bring the arms out, we want our arms to straighten out as soon as the hands get out in front. Okay, what you're doing is you're not really straightening them out until you're beginning the next pull. Okay, so let's watch that here. Bent. Okay, we should be reaching at that point right there, getting the feet together. Okay, as you're beginning to pull, that's when you straighten them out to the front and extend them, and then we're coming out wide. We want to extend right away at the front, come out to the Y position, and then pull into the chest, as opposed to pressing the fingertips out. Really, it's the fingertips that we need to focus on here, because notice your fingertips are reaching for the wall, or pushing towards the wall. I shouldn't say reaching, pushing towards the wall. We want the fingertips, okay, to be going towards the chest, to where the hands kind of meet with those fingers almost together at the chest. Again, for your age, okay, for where you're at, your breaststroke is pretty darn efficient, and you have a strong kick. It's just fixing that head position. Okay, the head position seems to be the central thing for age group to focus on, because then it leads to the wider pull and the hips dropping. Okay, so if we can get the head position to stay relaxed and down, we can tighten up our pull, maintain our body position, and really utilize that efficient, powerful kick that you have. And icing on the cake, a nice two-handed touch. So I like that a lot. Just remember, when we touch the wall, okay, just for the meat, okay, we want to touch the wall underneath the coping. We don't want to grab the wall. We want to touch the wall in the center. Okay, we want to be able to hit that pad hard so we get the best time possible. Okay, but otherwise than that, very good breaststroke, as I said. Just take an account for all the tips and tricks that I gave you, and if you have any questions at practice, feel free to ask me. Otherwise, I will make sure to try and point all of these things out to you at practice as well, but keep them in mind after watching the video. Alright, we appreciate you participating in Dartfish, and if you haven't checked out the underwater camera angle, please do now.